Okay, Creative Crunch. This week we're looking at why you don't finish and share your projects. And so this is a big one. Lots of creatives will get going on a project, work at it, and then as it gets near to the end, they they freeze or they run. So this week we're going to look at why people do that. Okay? And it could be you that does it. I know I've done it in the past, and it's an interesting one that many creatives have an issue with. If you can hear me okay, just write in the comments so I know. Um, as always, I try and test it first, but you never know. All right, so you spend your time and money creating and then you freeze or you run. Okay, these are two common reactions. Okay, we're getting near the end of a project, right? Fight or flight, right? But there's also freeze in that. Hi, Jan. Great, thank you. And you know, it's a similar pattern that you're good at starting things, but then when you get close to the end, you either freeze or you change to something else. So maybe you're somebody that's like, oh, motivation isn't an issue, staying focused is an issue. So if that's you, I suggest you keep listening because you might get something out of this. Now, we're going to explore what's happening with these patterns of freezing and running, okay, when we get to near the end of a project. And they're linked to fear. Surprise, surprise. So some of you may know that the amygdala, right? It's where we've got a live audience here tonight. And the amygdala is one of it's got these two centers in the brain. So each hemisphere has an amygdala in there. And it's responsible for intense emotions and it's most well known for fear. Okay. And what happens is we're about to share our work. We're going into a vulnerable space. It's almost finished the project. The amygdala kicks in, right? And the amygdala is trying to keep you safe, right? But there's not a tiger attacking you. But that's what the amygdala says. And it's very clever, right? Because if you're not going to listen if it's shouting at you, it's going to work subtly, okay? And so this is what we see in these patterns of freeze. Now, if you're doing these patterns, right, and I say this every week, right, but it impacts your social life. So, for example, if you're if you're not following through on your creative projects, it's likely that your judge is coming in, and that makes you withdraw, right? So instead of feeling expansive, we start to contract because we feel like there's something wrong with us. Hi, Julia. Hi, Brett. Nice to have you there. And so we start to contract because we feel like there's something wrong with us. We're not sharing our creativity, even though that was the intention, right? And that impacts how we interact socially with people because there's like shame and guilt starts to come in. Okay. It impacts you financially because you've spent money investing in your creativity and you've spent time investing in it, right? And of course, your mental health, which we covered just briefly, because your self worth is attached to it. It's like, I was doing this, but we're going to get into some of the judgments around it, but we contract. Now, the other thing which you might not be aware of, it impacts your future creativity. So if you're working on a project and then you stop, right, because of whatever reason, and that's a pattern for you, it's going to impact your future creativity. We're going to talk more about that. Okay, so let's look at the pattern of the freeze, right? So you've been creating this project, this piece of art, this song, this event, and then you start thinking, oh, I'm not interested in this more anymore, or I've lost my passion, or I've decided to do something else, or it's no good, I need to start again. Any of these resonate? Please feel free, if you get any insights, write them in the comments because other people learn from what you put in. And it's like, I'm not the only one that has this. So I've decided to do something else. It's no good. I need to start again. It's not good enough for me to be sharing it. It's not good enough for being able to release. Okay, that's a big one I know from musicians. I've done that. I did that 2 years ago. There's a song that I haven't released, but you know, whether or not my amygdala is fooling me, right? We'll see. It might still get released. So Julia, I hear you. Thanks, Brett. And there's something not right with the project, or it's just not right. And instead of working on the project and getting it finished, we freeze. Okay. And in that freeze, there's fear, right? And then there's the tendency to move on. So if you find that you start projects and you keep moving on, it could be this vulnerable phase where it's about to be seen by others. And it's like, oh no. So, and I was in the recording studio last week, and one of the songs I was just like, oh, it's just not coming together. It's oh. And I was like, no, just keep going. That judge is bullshit. It'll work itself out. Sorry to the live audience for the bullshit there. And the song did work itself out. And of course, then I hear it. I'm like, oh, I don't know. My singing's not very good, or oh, that could be better. But I'll still share it anyway. And so, what it is you've got to set them free, right? They come in, we've got to set them free. I'm going to talk more about that. So, it's a bit like, I don't know, Karate Kid or Mortal Kombat, right? The creative muse is like, finish him. And I'm using him because that's what they would say in those movies, right? But it's finish him. And what we do is we pull back. It's like, oh, I can't share it. Oh, can't finish it. Okay. And our muse, so for those of you who don't know, so there's this idea that we have creative muse, right? And many of you would have experienced it as creatives, that you don't know where the ideas come from. You just get lost in the work and it happens. And it's like, I don't know, right? And so some people describe that as a muse. And if I don't honor the muse will go find somebody else. And Elizabeth Grant talks about this in her book, Big Magic, right? The muse will go find somebody else, right? So it's like, oh, I'll test this person out. They seem like they're going to honor this song that I've got, right? And so what it is, you build up trust with your muse, because your muse goes, oh, they're committed to finishing the project, right? I can trust them with my creativity. I can trust them with these songs, or with these patterns, or with these paintings, or these creations. If you don't follow through on the project, the muse is going to find somebody else that they trust, right? And will honor the gifts that are in there. So if you honor the muse by following through on the project, you'll receive the gifts. And if you feel like you've lost your creative pulse, right? It's like, it's not happening. Guaranteed there's something there that you're not honoring your creativity, right? I'll say that again. If you've lost your creative pulse, your creative passion, you're not honoring your creativity in some way, right? Because when you do honor your creativity, the passion stays. Okay. And that means, like, if you feel like shit, you turn up and you do it anyway, right? And for example, I didn't feel amazing this morning, songwrite anyway, work on the songs anyway, right? And the muse knows I'm there, I'm here, send it to me. Okay. So freezing is one option, right? And people who work with me one-on-one, what we do is we look at these things in depth so that you can become free of them, right? And it might be that, you might never get rid of it, but you see the pattern, okay? And in seeing the pattern, we can become free of the pattern. And that's one of the reasons we have this creative crunch, so you can do that. And so in a one-on-one, we go in deep, we pull it apart, okay? Which is what we're doing now, but what we're doing is we tailor it to you. So, and, once again, it benefits your finances, right? And people will have a coach for business, they'll have a coach for sport. And for some reason, most creatives think they don't need a coach, and we try and work it out on our own. So what I'm saying to you is, there's a one-on-one. You're welcome to come join us. Now, we've got a lot more to go, but I will mention that next Tuesday night is a Tuesday tune-up, which is an opportunity, free online workshop, and it's an opportunity for you to come to experience the workshop. We look at a theme. This month's is procrastination, And then somebody has the opportunity to be in the hot seat, to be coached. And you guys choose who that person is. And I coach that person live with the idea being that, with the idea being that you get to see what it's like to be coached, but also you get the benefits because we're all similar, right? So as a creative, we're all trying to do similar things and similar processes. And so you get to see, even if it's not you in the hot seat, and it could be. So I'm going to pop the link in the comments now for Tuesday Tune Up. Oops, wrong button. And so please feel free to click that and register. It's free. There's nothing else you have to do other than just come along and get the most out of it you can. So come back. So one pattern is that we freeze. The other pattern is that we run, right? And I'll talk about what I mean by that you run, okay? If you're somebody that goes from project to project, yes, Yasmin, anyone can come. It's free, and yeah, it'd be beautiful to have you there. And one pattern is you start a project, and then you get distracted and move on to the next thing, and move on to the next thing, right? It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve your creative muse. But what it does do for the amygdala, it keeps you safe, right? Because if you don't have to commit, it's like being in a relationship, right? If I go from relationship to relationship to relationship when things get a bit sticky, a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about this, run, right? Move on to the next one. That's what people are doing with their creativity. It's like, instead of following through and finishing the project, they run. So, and it's very safe to have 5, 6 projects on the go that you never finish. So if that's you, I'm like, finish a project, choose one and finish it. Okay. Once again, Mortal Kombat, Karate Kid, finish him. Get in and finish it. All right. Okay, so here's some little ideas around what you can do if you have these patterns of freeze and run. Okay. If it's just once or twice and you're consistent the rest of the time, you don't have this pattern. And if it's happening frequently, and you've got songs from the last 10 years that you don't release, or even the last 2 years, just release them. Like, set them free so you can let the new ones come in. And it's the same with your paintings. Like, I remember a friend of mine, she had all these paintings that were 3/4 finished, sitting up behind a couch in a lounge room. Right? Amazing artist. The amygdala was kicking in and she couldn't finish them, right? Okay, so first one is finish and release your creative projects while you're still in your current state of awareness. Right? I'll say that again. Finish and release your creative projects in your current state of awareness. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. So 2 years ago, I recorded an EP. One of those songs, I was a bit like, part of me knows it's a beautiful song, but the other part is like, the judge, my singing's not good enough, right? And then I sit on it, right? And I sat on that song, and I'm still sitting on it. At the moment, it's a slower song, and what I want to do is release some more upbeat ones. So, but it will come, right? Because otherwise my judge will think, but it's not reflective of my abilities right now. So we're 2 years down the track, right? Hundreds and hundreds, possibly thousands of hours of practice. And so my awareness of what I'm capable of is different to what it was when I created that song, right? I'm still going to release it. But if I released it back then, I would feel better about it because it matches my current state of awareness. So I encourage you, finish and release your creative projects in your current state of awareness, right? If you go back and look at a painting or something that you've made 5 years ago and you can see your growth, there's a reluctance to share it, right? That happens. It can also happen that you go back and look at it, wow, actually it wasn't that bad. Why didn't I share it and learn a lesson, right? So, and another thing about releasing and sharing your paintings, your artwork, your creations, your events, it is better to take, I've said this before, better to take 100 photos, right, than take one perfect photo. Because if you take 100 photos, you're practicing the art over and over and over and over again. If you're spending your time just trying to get that one perfect photo, you won't progress skill-wise as quickly. And it's the same. Like you imagine if I was just doing one perfect painting, right? And instead I did 100 paintings, right? And if I sold some of those paintings, if not all of them, put them all up for sale, then I bring in money, which helps me keep painting, okay? Events, right? Stop planning the one perfect event. Plan more of them, right? And get in it. You're going to get better and better and better at running those events. Okay. All right. The second one is realize that your creativity is like a photograph. Say it again. Realize that your creativity is like a photograph, regardless of what it is you're creating. And thank you, Ryan Giddos, good friend, for introducing me to this concept, right? And so what Ryan said is, let's use the example of a song. It's a documentation of the resources that you have on the day. Okay. And so if, for example, I look at an old photo, right? Let's say a really old photo, right? Back when they would use the chemicals on the glass. I can't remember the name of it. I have some of them here. Right. Like that kind of style photo, right? And it, let's actually, we can even use this one as an example, right? So see on this one, I don't know, you can't quite see it. Let's see if we can do this light. I'm conscious of time too, right? So see on this one, there's blemishes, right? So you can see a spot on my face. Still an amazing photo. The guy that took it was like, well, it's not very good. And, it's like an old photo. So your creativity is like this. On that day, you had a certain voice, you had a certain budget, you had a certain amount of materials, right? It's perfect as it is. If I go back and look at a photo from 100 years, and sometimes you might see somebody in the photos moved, it's still an amazing photo. There's so many photos that you've probably seen that are like that. And it's like, wow, that's cool, right? But our judge and our critic comes in. So whatever you're creating, it's just like a photo of that moment. Release the moment, set it free. All right, speaking of set it free, set your work free and move on to the next thing, right? And Yasmin, I could see that you commented about that. It's create it, release it, set it free so the new things can come in. Otherwise, you back it up. And so, for example, I just recorded a couple of songs and I'm going to be recording songs every month for the next 6 months to get those songs out, right? To get them out so the new ones can come through. Okay, my muse is there waiting. Hey, we've got these songs ready to go. Hi, Beck. Know that you have the pattern of, so the fourth one is know that you have the pattern of freezing, right? Know that you have the pattern of running. Creative constipation. I like that, Yasmin. Know that you have this pattern. Then when it comes up, you can work through it. Yeah, clear the blockages, Jan. Right? Thank you for sharing these insights, people. And if you know that you have this pattern, when it comes up, you can be like, ah. And so people that work one-on-one with me, we get to know the pattern really well, but we also get to know what's underneath it so we can decrease the chances of that happening, right? And so that we can have strategies in place. And sometimes you need somebody to call you out on your own bullshit and say, hey, this is what's happening, right? Okay. Right, so there's 4 things. I'll go through them again, right? Number 1, finish and release your creative projects in your current state of awareness, right? Don't sit on them. Right, number 2, realize that your creativity is like a photo, right? And it's just a documentation of the resources that you had on the day. Number 3, set your work free, move on to the next thing. Number 4, know that you have a pattern of freezing or running and share your creativity, sell it, release it, have the events, whatever it is you do, do it anyway, knowing that you have the pattern. Okay, now we've got 30 seconds to get in under the 20 minutes. I'm going to put in the comments if you want a connection call with me where we can see if I can help you. So if you've got something out of value of tonight in 20 minutes, imagine what it's like to work with me for 100 days. right? Okay, so if you got something value, encourage you to tonight. I encourage you to click the link, book a connection call, and we can have a chat. How I can add value to you and what it is you want to do. Okay, and I encourage you to be aware that the work that we do lasts lifelong, right? Some people think, oh, financially, oh, I'm only going to get benefit for 100 days. I'll tell you, you get benefit for 1,000 days or 10,000 days. It is lifelong. Okay. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Creative Crunch. I'll be back next Wednesday, and the link for the Tuesday tune-up is there. Anybody's welcome. Come along. We're going to look at procrastination, and we're going to pull it apart. Thank you so much for your comments. Feel free to put any insights that you got. I'd love to hear what you got out of tonight. Shani, what we do today matters tomorrow, very much so. Thanks, Yasmin. And yeah, let's get you moving towards where you want to be. And I really appreciate you coming to Creative Crunch because I want you to move forward and share your gifts. You know, it's important. It's really important. All right, sending my love. Thank you, live audience. Woo!